What is up, Honey Badger Nation? This is John Kitchens, and welcome to episode 131 of Expert Mentors Live. Very excited for today's episode. We have Miss Andrea Timko on with us from the land, representing the west side of the 216.
Yeah, sort of, kind of right in the middle. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
I'm so glad for you to jump in, and I know you're crazy busy rocking and rolling up there with Al and Joel and the whole Cleveland crew. And
so it's been fun. On my toes, got to reel them in every once in a while.
That's right. So you've been kind of behind the scenes, coming out in front of the scenes of the kind of what's going on there in Cleveland with the Stacey group. And you might have lost me. Let's see. I'm going to do this. See if we can't get Andrea back. All right. Did we get you there?
I see you. Can you see me?
I got you. Yeah, you froze up on us for a second. Might have been my end, but I think we got you. So I was just going to say, you've been kind of, helping push and build the brand, the Stacey Group. You're, licensed, kind of transitioning out into the trenches yourself. I would love for you just to give a little background, share a little bit about you. I know a lot of these honey badgers haven't had the opportunity to connect or meet with you yet, so share a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's great to be here and be in front of everybody. I come from a marketing background. I went to Cleveland State and the Ohio State University to get my marketing degree and minored in Spanish. So that was a lot of fun. I did a lot of hands-on work. That was really what I was good at. I actually started going to school for nursing because I had no idea what I wanted to do, and that's what my dad wanted me to do. So I lasted like 2 weeks in anatomy and physiology, and I called him. I'm like, yeah, this isn't going to work. I'm not meant to be in a hospital. And I said, I want to go into business, and he's a small business owner. He's like, I don't want you to do that. I can't see you in an office all day. And I was like, well, I want to go into marketing. I want to be out in the field. I want to talk to people. I gotta talk to people. That's me. So I did that. And then marketing and their social media presence. I was with them for about 4 years. And I ended up as the marketing director of 4 different Harley dealerships all over the country. So Ohio, Florida, California, Colorado. So it was a lot of fun, but I definitely was working my 20s away, and which is fine. I'm a hard worker, but I was working every weekend, every day. I kind of lost touch with who I really was. I was really enjoying what I was doing, but I wasn't enjoying who I was as a person, and kind of the toll it took on family relationships, friendships, actual boyfriend relationships. So I just knew it was time for a change. So I began looking at other marketing jobs, and it's kind of hard. Sister, and I was like, would I be ridiculous to go back to school, get my real estate life, and maybe pursue that? That's all I can see myself doing other than this. And she's like, not at all. You have to talk to Al Stacey, because she's been cutting his hair for 10 plus years, I think. So started talking to real estate license, and he called me one day and said his marketing girl didn't show up for work. So I started the next week. I gave my 2 weeks at Harley, and I've been here ever since. They helped me get my real estate license about a year later because I wanted to kind of learn it from the inside. I think has been a huge my success because kind of I knew all the terminology and I knew what was going on before I actually threw myself out there and started doing it myself. So I think it was a major benefit. I did the same thing when I was at Harley. It took me like 3 years, and I'm like, I'm going to get my motorcycle license. And I haven't rode a motorcycle myself since, but I fully indulged myself in what I'm doing. So now, I've been licensed for almost a year now, and it's been great. I mean, I haven't had to do any lead generation for myself. I've really only been working with my SOI, and I'm in that perfect age range right now where all my friends are their houses, and it's a couple of my first transactions. I'm learning with you. So it's been really good. And I look forward to moving forward and continuing with growing my social media to help me build that business. And share the knowledge with everyone else, because it's been cool being able to do all the social media for my team and everyone around me and help grow their business too.
Yeah, that is really cool being able to take that. And Al's giving us a hard time. You're freezing up a little bit, so I was like, man, is this that North Texas internet? And Al's taking claim for the good old Cleveland internet. It's too cold up there today.
Yeah, all the lines are freezing, all the Wi-Fi.
It's too good. So just an awesome story, and then being able to really jump in and really help grow the presence in the brand. I know, just like kind of just seeing the change in the guys, noticing when you came on and really holding them more accountable to do the things that we know that works, right? You guys have the video crew, right? I mean, you guys do more video than, at least leading the way. I think, people are starting to kind of try to catch up to that game, but you guys have been embracing video for quite some time. You embrace it in everything that you guys do. And so it's really been cool to see just how that's played out, not only, with Al, with everybody else, but you as well, as we continue to really grow your brand and grow everybody on the team's brand as well. So I'm going to let you jump in. I know I've seen this presentation a couple times. It's fantastic, and definitely going to be able to add a lot of value to everybody here. And I'm wondering if we can. Okay, cool. I can see you there now. So the presentation's up. If you want to just rock through it, if we have any questions or comments, I'll chime in, but I'm going to let you roll with it.
Yeah, for sure. So this has kind of been what my process has been through building my own brand and building Stasic Group, helping not only build our social media presence for the team in order to generate 200 plus listings a month, and it's been helping us recruit. I mean, it's really been working out for us. So I wanted to share with you guys. And like John said, all video at the end of the day is one of our strong suits, and we get on Joel and Al and everybody and all of our agents about it, whether it's hope I don't keep cutting out because that'll get annoying for you guys. So what I'm diving into a little bit is branding, and then what social media platforms you need to be on, and just touch on the best practices for each of those. And three crucial pieces of content every post needs. and then how to create viral content, and then getting in the habit of creating content in as little time as possible. We all always have our phones on us, but from day to day, I mean, you can randomly get a listing call or buyer or have to go out on a showing, and you might forget your post that day. So getting into branding, this right here is my personal brand, and I knew that when I was coming out to announce to all my friends and family that I was a real estate agent, I wanted to have my own personal brand that was consistent with who I was and keep everything across the board consistent. So it all relatively looks the same with the same fonts and the same colors. And
You're freezing all the time.
okay, wait. Joel's told me I'm freezing all the time.
See if we can't fix this. No worries. While Andrea's kind of changing up locations there, I know the pain. I know the pain. One of the things that kind of stood out, and you know, as Andrea was talking about video, when we had our Cleveland boot camp last year, I remember, you know, the build up to that event, just the consistency and everybody doing lives. And I remember Al picked me up at the airport and he said, okay, Andrea said we have to go live on the way back from the airport. So it's like, boom, we went live again and just adding value and promoting, you know, kind of ourselves and the brand. I mean, and then the event leading into that. So just definitely, like she said, keeping everybody on point, but it's a great reminder for us to stay consistent in those efforts and what we're doing.
Yeah, and everyone ended up pulling together for that event, and it ended up being great. I had a whole whiteboard that was taller than me with all of my details and exactly how I needed everything to go and everyone to follow it. So at the end of the day, it turned out to be a great event. So, okay, hopefully this room will work a little bit better than my office. So yeah, back to branding. Like I said, I wanted to make sure everything looked the same so that when someone saw something in their timeline, they can recognize that it was me that was the one who posted it or sold, or that it was coming from me. But in addition to my colors and my fonts and everything, I stay in front of the camera because at the end of the day, our social media, I like to say, is our storefront as real estate agents. So I want everyone to be able to recognize my face as well as my branding. And the program I use for that is Canva and designing a brand kit. I know Holly uses that. It's been the easiest and one of the best tools that I have ever come across. Can I seriously go out again? But on this, when I was working at Harley, the Bar and Shield is the #2 most well-known brand in the country, other than McDonald's, or I should say worldwide. So I never really had that opportunity of having to create a brand for myself. We did for our franchise and for our individual stores. But at the end of the day, if you needed a motorcycle or parts or something, you just probably went to the nearest by dealership. So with this, we have such large competition and reason to stay in front of people and create a consistent brand that I've really been able to dive into doing it for myself. So I think I won't go too into depth with all of this as I normally do, but I think everyone knows that Instagram is huge. It's a giant area of opportunity to stay in front of people. I just checked in on my analytics, and my age range of my followers are 25 to 35.
Hey, Andrea, see if your slide changed. It's still showing the branding page.
Oh, really? Mine is showing my next slide.
I was giving Joel a hard time, telling him, hey, pay that internet bill. You keep talking through it. If it catches up, you can just kind of talk through it.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say I can always just close it and talk through it.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn are definitely the three social medias that I utilize the most, but for different reasons. Instagram is a huge opportunity of staying in front of your clients on a more personal level, whether it's on posts or on stories. Facebook, I kind of intermingle the two, but I have my separate Facebook and my business Facebook. And then you can obviously run ads and highlight local finds on Facebook. So that's mostly what I use Facebook for. And then LinkedIn, I use more so as a business profile in order to connect with fellow real estate agents in the area, but also stay in front of other people to establish myself as the local authority in the real estate business. So with all of the three combined, it is important that we show our face through a combination of all of the different features they have. So obviously organic posting, these stories, I think all of the platforms have now, and then Instagram with the rollout of Reels. And then just looking into the analytics of each one. So I don't know if you heard me or if I cut out, but my Instagram shows that my audience is 72% of my audience is 25 to 35 years old. So that's a huge area of opportunity for me, because those people in that age range, the younger, are going to be buying their first homes, and then the others may be considering buying their second home or moving on if they're starting a family, something like that. So just really taking advantage of those analytics to know what to post, whether it's first-time home buyer tips, if it's tips on selling at different times, market updates.
Move up tips, probably. I mean, because that's the audience, right? Like you just said, they're not going to be, downsizing at that age typically,
Exactly.
right? So it's, yeah.
Right. Yeah. I'm not going to post about senior living or things like that, because that's not who my target audience is. And I want to say the majority, probably 90% of my business last year was first-time home buyers. So I love it because love that I get to teach them the process of everything that is involved, get them excited, and then it's an amazing feeling handing them the keys to their first home. So just being able to really capitalize on that and those postings, and then having them share it when they're tagged, and just continuously putting myself in front of their audience, their friends and their fans now. I mean, it's a huge area of growth, and I've gained so much more business from that. I had a girl who I really didn't talk to very much message me, and she was like, "You seem to find everyone the cutest houses. Can you find me one?" And so then right there, it became a transaction. And I mean, we
lost her for a second. The one thing I do want to kind of emphasize what Andrea was saying, and you guys all, this is really, really important to get, is you don't have to guess, right? You need to be thinking about who is, who are the people that will give you money, right? Who are the people that will do business with you? And Andrea is leading, she's leading with the data to determine who that target audience is. And then she's crafting her offer that speaks to their situation, right things, right order. And, it was important. It's really, really important for you guys to understand that, right? What is the target market? Now, what is my offer that speaks to their situation? How can you join the conversation in their head and position that particular value add, your offer, which are your services, your, the benefits, the education, and the relationship with you. And, she's not guessing. She knows that audience. She knows what their problems are, and she's just building and crafting offers to solve it.
Exactly. And I like following my 80-20 rule. I think that this is all backed up, so we could just kind of talk through it, John. But okay, my 80-20 rule for posting, say 80% should be personal posts and 20% business, because I want people to know what I'm doing and be able to relate to me on a certain level, but not let them forget that I'm a real estate agent, so that when it does come time for them to buy their house, they think of me. And I had someone just reach out the other day. They want to, he's actually a couple years younger than me, I believe, but him and his brother want to go into their first investment property. And he was like, I've known you for a while, and I want you to be with us for the long haul, because we want to purchase several over the next few years. So just establishing that authority that you know what you're doing and you're the go-to person, but keeping your real life in there too, not just constantly shoving business down their throat. Because if you look at my pages, I mean, it's Facebook more so will have more business on it, but my Instagram, there's a good balance between my stories and my regular feed posts that are personal and business.
Yeah, it's hard to build trust if you're just shoving business stuff down their face. And
Right.
And you can't build a relationship based upon that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's so important to be vulnerable and, get them to know all of you, because you're going to want to work with people who are like you, right? That we enjoy being around, spending time with. And so, especially if we're trying to build a relationship, and we want to be able to attract those people. So you're going to resonate at a much, much deeper level. It's just easier to build trust.
Exactly. And like you were saying, to kind of trying to talk to the people, answer their questions. So a lot of people do have a hard time figuring out where their specific clients are or where their followers are. I always say, like, you're probably lacking a clear marketing plan, or that social media is important, but you don't really know how it could benefit to your business. So you want to find out who you're speaking to, what do they struggle with, what do they do in their downtime, and what are their resonate with them.
Right. Yeah. The thing to remember too is, does that person, do they believe that you can help them solve whatever it is they're trying to solve? And so Andrea knows that target audience. She knows the problem that they have, and all of her content and her content and copy strategy has to be in a form to where it conveys that her target audience believes that she can solve their challenges. So some key to be mindful of. We lost her, so we'll get her to tune back here. Let's see. Did this last time this worked. Okay, she's on the move again. Maybe see if Joel can help out. So I think that's kind of what we were talking about is being really intentional with, knowing who your target audience is, and then creating content and copy and your strategy that's going to speak to them or their problems. And while Andrea's connecting back in here, the question of, utilizing your personal page or your business page. If your personal page, do you keep it public, or do you just add everybody? When we get Andrea back here locked in, I love her take on that. For me, and this was a Tammy Pack. She shared with us in Key West Mastermind, been a little over a year now, but she uses just her personal, and she's really intentional on who she has. She, in her town, she friend requests everybody that lives in her town, and she friend requests agents that are not at EXP. Now, obviously, this is outside of people that she really wants to be friends with on Facebook, but she's very intentional with her personal page on building that relationship with people that live in her town and then also the real estate agents that are not at EXP that she can continue to influence and add value. So that's the route she goes. So Andrea, I love what is your take on that question for Facebook? And are you using personal or are you using the business page? And how are you working that?
Yeah, so I do something similar. I do add a bunch of people that just are from my area so that I can show up in their timeline. And when I post my North Royalton, Strongsville, Brunswick market updates, it feels like I'm talking to them. And then when I do my remarketing strategy, it's not like I'm a stranger to them. But I have my personal Facebook that are my friend requests and things like that. And then I have my business Facebook in which I do most of my business posting with a little bit of personal stuff to it that's tasteful. And then I'm able to run those ads from there. So I actually, following the boot camp, had one of the agents there ask me, she's like, I did that and I friend requested a bunch of people. And I had so many people saying like, I don't know you. Why are you friend requesting me? And my advice to her was give them a little bit of value and try to give them insight without actually trying to sell them right off the bat. And if they want nothing to do with you, then fine, move on to the next person. You're going to have that, whether it's newsletters, text blasts, anything that you send out, you're going to have those people that unsubscribe or don't want to hear from you. So it's really the same thing.
And that's a good thing, right? When people raise their hand, like thank you, right? Because you're not, we're never going to do business anyways. So you're good with that.
Right. And I even say on social media posts, even if you have an ad running, like a market update, you're always going to get negative comments on it. You're going to have the people that have lived there their whole life and they don't agree with anything that you say about the real estate market. But all that's doing is their negative comments are just adding engagement to your post. So I encourage engaging back with them and not deleting it, because all it's doing is continuously boosting your post to the top of people's pages organically, because the Facebook and Instagram see that people they don't know what the content is or the comments are. They just know that it's getting interaction. And so they think it's important, so that they boost it up to people's timelines.
Love it. Cool. I'll let you kind of keep us rolling here. I know you've got the slides to keep us on point. As we kind of transition, I know you had mentioned something on LinkedIn, and is there a little bit different strategy there, knowing that audience versus an Instagram, since you're speaking to agents? I don't want to take you off topic, but I was just kind of curious, kind of what you're doing to that audience to build trust.
Yeah, so what I have different practices, making sure that your profile is set up to succeed, having relevant skills in there, and constantly being active and commenting on other people's posts, but keeping it professional, of course. And then being wordy. Whereas Facebook and Instagram, people want kind of more of a quick read. LinkedIn, people are in a business mindset and they are there to learn or to find things insightful. So being wordy, LinkedIn lets you be wordy for a reason. And I think that is super important for people to remember when they're posting on LinkedIn. And then as far as building relationships go, it's basically just sliding into their message and saying, hey, I'm just interested in growing my business with local people or with other people in the industry, and just kind of taking that conversation from there, and then slyly do your recruiting process from there. If it's another agent, inviting them to different events that we have going on and connecting with them on a more personal basis, even finding out what maybe they struggle with.
That's great. Being wordy. I like that. How just a good distinction between the different platforms and knowing the audience and how they respond. That's great.
Really using maybe Facebook or Instagram messages.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Looks like we got you back. So I'll let you roll. Kind of keep us on track here.
Well,
All right. We'll see. We get Andrea back in as we deal with the fun internet challenges. Our early internet challenges here of 21. All right, you gotcha. Hey, Andrea, can you hear me? All right, there you go. Maybe not. Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. I know the pain. I know the exact pain. We had to deal with that early, a lot of last year here in North Dallas. So we'll see. We get Andrea back in, but as it relates on the trust side of things, just always coming from a place of contribution and adding value, right? We talk about it, constantly making deposits of value, and being careful not to go into the relationship and take. And so while Andrea's jumping back in here, Al's good friends with John. I can't think of his last name. He's the author of Giftology. Okay. And he was just recently on one of Gary's podcasts, and they were talking about this. And if you guys follow Gary V any at all, he's all about just adding value in deposits. So just really, taking into consideration, if you haven't read Giftology, I highly, highly recommend doing that and checking that out. Andrea, it looks like we got you back.
Yeah, let's see if this works for now. I tried a couple different Wi-Fis. So
okay, cool. All right.
But what were we talking about? So getting to a little bit of content creation, the 3 crucial pieces of content to have in every post. I always have a compelling headline. You always want to either entertain, educate, or add value, and then always ending with a clear call to action. So you always want to subtly or clearly ask for somebody's business, depending on the post or the situation. One of the best ways to do so is sharing your expertise, starting out with a hook headline that's going to grab their attention, whether it's talking about the pandemic or something that has changed in the housing industry, something that's going to grab their attention and make them continue to read. And if you've experienced some of the pain points that other people have been experiencing, let your audience know that you've been there and what you've done to get through it. What's your why? Share the reason you became an agent, or share your story a little bit. And then, of course, what makes you qualified and what your accomplishments have been and how you got to where you are. And then what results you've achieved for clients. So if you've experienced many different things with first-time home buyers or nightmares of different client situations, talk about it and let people know that you've been there. And one pro tip is that testimonials are going to be your biggest revenue drivers. Sharing what other people are saying about you and getting those reviews, not only do they help your presence online, but it's going to, again, build your authority and let people know that you're the person to work with and you're the expert in their area.
I love that. Do you look at testimonials and like case studies a little bit different? Like, what are you looking to pull out of there?
Yeah, so I would say testimonials, I just think, are more personal. You're getting the real, the raw, what people have to say about you. and you're sharing that with everybody in your sphere, everyone that's if it
I think I know what. Did we lose you there? Okay, we lost you there for a second.
kind of talk to Al.
We got to talk to Al. Upgrade on that internet. Come on, what's up? The one thing just can maybe add a little bit on the testimonial side. Andrea's 100%. You guys, that's just, people are consuming that. It's just one of the validation points that they're looking for when they're choosing who they're going to do business with. There's only a handful of things that consumers are researching, and that's got to be one of them, right? They got to hit the reviews. They want to see, what people are saying and experiencing when dealing, working with you and your service, your company. And one of the easiest ways to think about testimonials, if you don't know how to kind of quite ask, how they need to be structured, it's just this simple. What was life before working with me? And what's life been like since working with me? What's the difference? And if you could just get that, I mean, obviously you can get other key words, key points, but just in the whole, just the simplicity of it, if you can just get those two things, you got a great testimonial. And that's really, the key, but make sure you have a process for getting them. I would love your feedback, Andrea. I'm starting to see some posts, saw one in the Honey Badger group this morning that a lot of folks have just relied on the Zillow reviews, and the real threat that those could be going away.
Right.
So what are you doing to build up your arsenal of reviews? Like, so what are your thoughts and best ways to get those?
Yeah. So I actually was just talking to Joel about this like last week, because we have someone on our team that makes sure that everything through Zillow is being updated and whatnot. And now it's all gone, past sales, reviews. And yes, we love to have it, but I really am not worried for my own personal, or I don't think anybody really should be. When a deal closes for anyone on our team, especially, I kind of take every step, because I have their personal phone numbers to get reviews on my personal Facebook page, on our group Facebook page, on my Google account, and on our Stasic group Google account. I send them the link and I say, hey, can you please fill out a review? I'd love to hear some feedback. And I send that to their
Every time we get into something like really good on the edge of our seat, the internet freezes up. We'll get her back here. I definitely want to hear kind of the process that they're going through, and definitely all of the places, and that we want to make sure that we're there. I think the other thing too, and Andrea touched on it in the beginning, was staying consistent in what that looks across on all platforms, right? She was talking about your brand image, consistent across all of the different platforms at that point. So we lost you about kind of how you were sending that to your clients to be able to capture those reviews and those testimonials and that feedback.
Yeah. So what I do for the team, as soon as a deal goes under contract, I send an email introducing myself kind of as the client customer relationship manager, if you will. So I give it just like a brief introduction. If it's a listing, I meet them at the beginning of the process, because I introduce myself as the marketing person. I input their listing. I do everything at the beginning. So then at the end, whether it's a buyer or seller, I'll send out an email reintroducing myself, and just asking for that review on our social pages. I actually didn't even really include Zillow in those much anymore, because we just try to not focus on Zillow. And now that it's gone, it doesn't doesn't matter. So I'd rather have them on Google and on Facebook where we know people are going to see them and where people are these days. And I do the same thing with my clients. As soon as something closes, I send it to them. So like I said, I send it when they go under contract. So that's when their high is, when they're super happy that their offer was accepted and they're kind of starting this whole process. And then if they haven't given us a review yet, then I'll send it again once the deal actually closes. And I couldn't make it any easier for them. I say, you can leave your Facebook review here and your Google review here. And they just have to click on the link and it'll open right to the review page. So they don't have to do any extra steps.
Perfect. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. And as much guidance, that you can give them, the higher you're going to get, unless you want to be, relentless and picking up the phone and texting them and trying to get it in any which way you can.
Right.
Yeah.
And sure. I, like I said, I will do that for my personal deals because I have that relationship with them and I have their phone number and everything already. But as more of a professional standpoint with deals that I don't necessarily have my hands fully in, I'll just give a brief introduction of who I am and why I'm asking for this review for the agent.
I love it.
I position it as if we're helping the agent out and them. So I say, we'd love to hear your experience in order for more people to find Mike or whoever the agent is. Would you consider leaving them a review? And more times than not, we get them.
Cool. So I know we've been kind of bouncing around here a little bit, just juggling with the internet struggles. Can you give a little bit about, really the blocking and the routines to be the time allocation, right? You had kind of mentioned that a little bit. I know Bryant is asking a question, doing social media, not only for your team, but for yourself. What's are you using the same things? Are they a little bit different? And then what are you using any type of tools, technology to help, distribute this content out? I think anything that can kind of help condense time for people to be able to stay consistent with this would be really helpful.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I typically set aside time on Mondays, a couple hours to schedule out social media posts for the entire week. I look at our analytics at least twice a month to see when posts are performing the best. And that's when I'm going to schedule out. There are charts that you can find from different, I believe it's from Sprout Social. They give kind of a graph on when people are active, but not all people in every part of the country are going to be on the same timeline. So that's why you want to look at your analytics and figure out when your users are most active on social media. So I use a site called Loomly, and it's LOOMLY.com. And it lets you connect all your social media sites and you can post right there for the entire week. So creating the content is going to take a little bit of time, but posting it and just writing out your captions, it's just step by step, and it even gives you hashtag suggestions. It gives you time suggestions. It'll tell you if your post is too long for Facebook, but good for LinkedIn or for Instagram. It'll let you add the location. You could do everything from that one platform.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I have a few other clients using it. They love it too.
Yeah, it's awesome. I worked with a few different ones, and some of them are great. It kind of depends on pricing and how many accounts you want to have set up and whatnot. But I found Loomly to be the best because you can even post to stories from Loomly. You can really do a lot. So I do all my, like I said before, content or at least graphic creation mostly on Canva, and then I do all my posting through Loomly.
Way cool. Love it.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great little tidbit for everybody to get that in the calendar and condense, that into, instead of trying to wake up in the morning and figure out what you're going to do, just taking the time to prepare it is going to be key.
Right. And of course, different things pop up throughout the week. If we have a new listing for the team that came in, like I had one come in today. So once that's either input into the MLS as coming soon or active, then we'll do a social media post about that I wouldn't have known about on Monday, of course. But so things come up here and there. But if you can keep a good rhythm of just kind of being consistent through a scheduling platform like that, it's already taking so much time out of the rest of your week.
That's awesome. What, I know just any little tidbits that you can give anybody listening in that's trying to generate some new leads and new opportunities through their content and marketing, maybe some Facebook tips to get some leads that you guys are using.
Yeah. So I do a lot, obviously, with the having call to actions and creating content that engages and converts is one thing, and having a strategy for that. But also with a background in Facebook ads, we have been able to. I had a funnel running. I generated 100 leads in 7 days for new construction clients or people interested in new construction. And it's just being strategic with your imagery. So new construction, we want a pretty new, obviously new construction white house as the image that's going to attract people. And then you just have to be smart about your headline and about the description and the everything involved, and then being able to target the right audience. So people who are interested in real estate, loans, Zillow.com, stuff like that. So depending on what your goal is, then that's how you should, if you want to target people who want home values, you could just put it out there to everyone. Or if you want someone who's interested in new construction, you're going to kind of dial in your targeting a little more. And connecting that to a Facebook lead form that connects to a CRM, it's literally, it does everything for you. And then being able to connect that to your calendar, you're literally just getting appointments one after another.
Yeah, that's great. On that image, you want to make sure that new construction is something that they would actually see in the area, right?
Right. So you could go take your own picture, which I highly recommend, because you would hate to get an ad up there and then someone flag it because you use their photography. But yes, you want to use something that's something relatable. I'm not going to use a house that's in Arizona or Texas that would not exist in Cleveland, Ohio. And for our cash offer funnel, we don't want to post a picture of the most beautiful house they've ever seen, because those people don't want a cash offer on their house. They want top dollar for their house. So you want to look at your average sales price and then go even a little bit lower than that, because those are the people that are going to be more interested in what your offer is.
Gotcha. Makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
When we're laying out our content, what are some of the key things that every piece of your content must have? I know you touched on a little bit, but kind of recalibrate, share that with everybody again. Just want to make sure everybody gets it. Hey, these are the top 3 things that every piece of content should have.
Yep. So you always want a compelling headline that's going to hook them in. And then you want to provide shareable value so that they continue reading and they get something from your post. And like I said, you want to either educate, entertain, but you want to keep it, at least make sure that there's value in there. Yep. And then lastly, you want a clear call to action. So you want to say, shoot me a DM, or if you want more, read more. For my blog post, I'll put a compelling caption. I'll put a little bit about the blog post, and then I'll say, here's the link to read the rest. And then it's actually taking them off that platform, taking them to my blog website, but it's getting them to make a move and do something. And I've had great success from that with people reading it and commenting on it and just loving everything about it, because it's providing value and showing my expertise, whether it's about a certain home topic, staging your home, whatever it might be, if it's should I buy or should I rent, just providing those little pieces of information and then ending it with a call to action.
Gotcha. So everything is there, and you were breaking that down, and I think it was one of the times that you froze up. So I just want to make sure you put that back together for everybody to really get that, because that's really, really important, because I see so much stuff out there, and I'm guilty of it as well, that not a clear telling people what to do with with that content. And I love that, back to the blog. And, hearing you say that. So like for you, what are the triggers for the content that you need to, in the copy or whatever, however your blog post is put together? Like what are you thinking about to keep that fresh? How often are you updating it? What's kind of your process?
For my blog post?
Yep.
So I typically try to do it twice a month. So I figure every other week. And sometimes I'll do like a topic. So if it's about selling your home, I'll do like part 1, part 2, part 3. Or if it's just a frequently asked questions and kind of expand on it, I will I'll make an attractive image, and then I'll put it out there with just a little bit. So like on Facebook, I might expand a little bit more, or on LinkedIn, I will as well. Sorry, my computer was going to die. Sorry. Well, my help.
Thanks, Joel. I love it.
So for Facebook, I'll expand a little bit more, and especially LinkedIn, because we want to be wordy. But on Instagram, I might be a little bit less and encourage them to go to read the rest of the post.
Cool. I love that. That's fantastic. I think it's a great, simple call to action that gets them to consume more information, more content about you, then gives them to another, you're providing more value, and it's, more value, tell them to go here, more value. And then you can hit them with the, hey, if you want more information, let's jump on a call, or then you can hit them with another direct offer at that point.
Exactly. And just being able to just keep up with the times in blog posts. I mean, talking about the market with the pandemic and how inventory is so low, or benefits of selling right now, or whatever it might be. Like I said, I go after first-time home buyers a lot. So I'm going to talk about the benefits of buying versus renting. So that was one of my latest blog posts, was just to try to get that through to people. And then at the end of the day, you want to convert them to either client right now or in the future.
Love it. So as we're kind of wrapping up here, I can't believe we're already an hour in, but, and I really appreciate you jumping in, and I know the struggles with the internet, and keep rolling. So what would be like one final, takeaway for everybody listening in, that like, hey, if you guys do anything this year with your your marketing strategy, content strategy, man, you got to at least do this. What would that be?
I think it's figuring out who it is that you're talking to. Don't try to spread yourself thin and try to be the expert in every area. Figure out who your audience is and show your expertise in so many ways to those people to really captivate them, and then get them bragging about you to people that are in their similar situation. You don't want to, and another thing is not hiding behind the camera. Get in front of people, show them your face. And I think really just figuring out who those people are. That way you can start crafting your content around them and what they're struggling with, and answer their questions, and creating content that will convert and get engagement from those people.
I love it. Those are great nuggets. And again, Andrea, I appreciate you jumping in, being a true expert mentor for this amazing honey badger nation and all of the honey badgers out there.
Of course.
For all of you guys listening in, make sure you give Andrea lots of love for rocking through the struggles, and we'll give Joel a high five for helping out.
Next time I'll have to do it from home, where the internet might be a little stronger.
Well, very cool.
All right, John, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, make sure to give Andrea lots of love, and we will see you guys on the next episode. See ya.